Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my home in Livingston, Montana. Give me a second to clear my throat because I've been sitting here telling stories all morning. Well, who cares? I'm sure not that many people. Okay, I was thinking about this, and this happened in the spring, actually, the summer of 1969, way back then. I used to live up in a place called the Mission Valley, right on the south shores of Flathead Lake. Now, if you get on Google Earth and take the state of Montana and look up in the northwest corner, you're going to see a lake. That lake is 28 miles long and 15 miles wide with 120 some odd miles of shoreline. It's one of the biggest freshwater lakes west of the Mississippi. It's called the Flathead Lake. South of Flathead Lake, right on the lake, there's this town called Polson, Montana. Polson. That's where I graduated from high school from. But this happened, I do believe, between my junior and senior year, the story I'm about ready to tell you. This deal, as weird as this story sounds, almost killed me. That's why I'm telling it. Not that I'm looking for any sympathy, but to show you how weird things can happen. Now, I spent a lot of time in my youth swimming on that Flathead Lake because there was all kinds of stuff to do on Flathead Lake. Swimming, boating, ice hole fishing. They used to have boat races up there, all kinds of stuff. Trust me, you know. But anyway, one of my best friends that I graduated with in high school, he invited me and my brother Nick, my brother that's 2 years younger than me, to come out and visit him. And his parents lived out on a place called Rocky Point. That's about 4 or 5 miles on the west lake shore from Polson, Montana, on the Flathead West Lake Shore. They were out of town, not that far. Well, me and my brother are visiting this friend of mine. His name is Greg. I don't need no last names or nothing, but we're visiting him. He goes, "Oh yeah, guys, I forgot to tell you, I got to go to work." Now back in the day, he worked. There was a store there in Polson. I think it's still there. It's called the B&B. He worked as a box boy, and he had to pull a shift that afternoon or that. I think he went to work like at, I don't know. I can't remember, guys. It's been a lot of years ago. It seemed to me like he went to work at some barnyard time, like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, not real late. He worked worked up till closing anyway. And he told me, Greg told me and Nick, he says, "Hey, look, make yourself at home here." And of course, his mom was gone off to work, and his dad was gone off to work, and Greg says, you guys can go down here. Did you bring your fishing pole? Because he knew me all too well. He says, "Did you bring your fishing poles along?" I said, "Oh yeah, I got my fishing pole right here in the car." He said, "Well, good." He says, "Go on down, just walk up." They had lakeshore property. He told me, he said, "Just walk on down." He said, there's a rowboat there. And you take the boat out if you want to and go fishing. Or just want to, I'll be back in 4 or 5 hours. I don't think he worked no 8-hour shift. I don't quite remember how that deal shook out. So me and my brother, we get all excited, because we brought a little gear along, and we used to like to fish. We fished for trout and everything, but one of the biggest species of fish that we always used to go after, besides the salmon on the Flathead Lake, was perch. The perch were good eating. You just have to know how to play them out, get them rough skins off the hide and everything like that. So we decided we're going to go out there. We're going to paddle out, 100 yards, couple hundred yards from shore and go perch fishing, So that's what we did. Greg left to work. We went down and got in his boat, and off we went. Well, Greg had this pet dog. His friend of mine had this pet dog. It wasn't a collie. I'm not up on my dogs, guys, so I don't remember if it was a big old Saint Bernard it was a black dog. I remember. I think it was a big black lab, if I'm not mistaken. But it was one of them bigger dogs. You know what I mean? It wasn't a collie. I know that. It wasn't a pit bull or any of that. I know my dogs well enough, even though I don't know the pedigrees all that well. But this dog of Greg's was a good 100-pounder plus. Anyway, my brother and I jump in this rowboat. We throw all our gear in there. We start paddling out into the Flathead Lake. Well, here comes the family dog paddling after us. You know, if I could have done this all over again, I'd have just put that stupid dog in the boat because it was wanting to hang with us. It was wanting to hang out with us, you know. I reckon that's what the deal was. So anyway, my brother and I are stroking along. We only had one set of oars. I think I was the one that was oaring, you know. And we get out there, but I could see this dog following us, you know. And as soon as we got out by where we wanted to fish, here come this dog right up to the edge of the boat. And it was hopping and popping and panting. And I told my brother, I said, man, I don't think that, this dog, when we were in I knew that Flathead Lake pretty good. And we were in about 30 feet of water. This was definite drowning time for that dog. And the dog looked to me like it was starting to get extremely tired, you know. So I told Nick, I said, I tell you what, let's do. Let's try to help this dog. And I don't even remember what the dog's name was. But I said, let's try to help this dog up in the boat. So Nick says, okay. So here we are. We let go of the paddles and everything. And we're working on one side of the boat trying to help this dog, this big, hairy, heavy, wet dog into the side of that stupid little rowboat. And it about capsized us. And we just could not get that dog, you know, because it was flailing its legs around and everything. And it wasn't trying to be mean or bite us or nothing like that, but it just wasn't cooperating all that well, and we could not get that dog in that boat. Okay, in all the excitement, one of the oars got away from us. One of the oars fell out of the boat and started floating away. And we only had one oar, so we took and tried to, you know how it is. You guys ever paddle a boat with one oar? Doesn't work too good. So we're trying to paddle it, and all this excitement, the dog splashed around. It caused a lot of ripples in the lake. It was a really calm day out there in that lake, but the extra oar or the other oar floated away from us a good, I would say like 25 or 30 yards. And I told old Nick, I said, I know what to do. This is one of the biggest mistakes I ever made around animals. And I've been around animals all my life. Didn't even stop to think about the consequences. I had swam that Flathead Lake a lot. I used to dive off the city bridge, which is illegal. There's some, I just did a lot of high diving. There was places I knew where there's some cliffs and different things like that. I was an accomplished swimmer. I peeled off all my clothes. I told Nick, I said, I'll just go swim over there and get that oar. So I dived off and went over there to try, I don't even think I made it to that oar. Or I might have made it, I don't know. But this is what happened. I get about 20 yards away from the boat where my brother's at, and that dog came over by me, and it was still hopping and popping and foam coming out of his mouth, and I knew doggone well it was about 3 shades away from expiring, out of breath, out of energy. And all of a sudden, this dog tried, it wasn't biting me, it wasn't necessarily scratching me, but it tried climbing up on my back. That dog was looking at me like a place he could rest. And to make a long story short, what this dog was doing, he had these great big long claws. This was a big dog. And he was so intent on grounding himself, resting himself, that he was raking right down my back and holding me literally underwater, too, while I was at it. Cyril, man, this dog was in the process of freaking drowning me. Drowning me, I said. And I'm struggling along and everything, and I'm kind of looking over my brother, wondering what the hell he's doing to help out. But, there's nothing that he can really do within reason anyway. So finally, I got smart enough because this dog was literally in the process of drowning me. That's what I'm saying. Because I'm starting to get tired and running out, fighting with this dog, trying to push him away and all this other stuff. So finally, I got sense enough to go underwater. And I swam underneath water a good 20, 30 yards and came up on the other side of that boat. I'm not kidding. This is how I escaped from that dog, and it didn't take me very long to scramble myself up into that boat. But that was I have another story I'm going to tell, but not right now. But that was one of the closest times I ever came to dying on Flathead Lake, Montana. That miserable mutt. And I'm sorry for you dog hunters, lovers out there, whatever have you. But I almost got killed by a dog on a simple fishing, swimming escapade, if you will. And my back, and did we ever pull that dog up into that boat? No, because I was so mad at that point in time, I didn't give a shit if that dog died or not. But we rolled the 150 or 200 yards back to shore, and that dog makes it okay. But my back, it took my back a month to heal up. I had scratches this long on my back, all over my back. That was the freakiest thing that had ever happened to me concerning a dog. Well, I've had a few other weird things that happened to me concerning dogs, but that one there is very close to the top of my list. Had I not thought to swim underwater and do the evasive actions that I did, that dog would have killed me. That's the end of this story, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for listening. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you on down the trail.